Hello YouTube, Reverend Evan Sackett here. I've been thinking a lot about the new year 2010 and how things are going to change about and how they're not going to change about and hopefully what's going to come of everything. I mean, the last year and the year before, 2007 to 2009 has been, this has been the most turbulent 2 years I think that America has had in a very long time. And we're saying goodbye to the 2000s. And I don't think that we've realized just how amazing and terrible of a decade this has been. In my opinion, this has probably been the most turbulent decade that the United States of America has had next to the 1960s or the 1940s. I mean, it started off with the World Trade Centers, the Pentagon, September 11th, 2001, followed shortly by the Iraqi War, followed by the pursuit of Osama bin Laden and Saddam Hussein, the capture of Saddam Hussein, President George Bush, the Great Recession, the boom in amazing technological advances in computers and cell phones. This decade has been an outrageous decade. It's been so important to our history that people don't seem to realize the significance of a certain decade until a few years after it's passed. And I'm really confused as to how we're going to refer to the 2000s. Are we going to call them the 2000s? Or what? Because technically, 2011, 12, 13, 14 would still be part of the 2000s. The whole century would be the 2000s. But I think that what will happen is when we hit the 2020s, we'll go back to saying the 20s, the 30s, the 40s, the 50s, just like we did in the 20th century. Because, like the 1950s, the 1960s became the 50s or the 60s, and you didn't call it, and we're not going to call the 2050s and the 2060s the 2050s and the 2060s. We're going to just refer to them as the 50s and the 60s. Of course, that's completely irrelevant, completely, just trivial, but the important thing is that we try to make the best lives that we can make for ourselves. And I know we say that day after day, but you got to understand what it really means. And the culture of America is so caught up in this illusion of grandeur. Everybody's got this illusion that, in order to be extremely successful, they have to be living in a $900,000 house and work as a doctor or a lawyer. And if you notice, we are raised up to think that we have to live a certain life in order to be complete. We are taught that unless you make a lot of money, you are not complete. Don't do this job because it doesn't pay you much. Don't do this job because it doesn't pay much. You need to do this job because it pays a lot more. I've worked in offices, and let me tell you, I absolutely despise them. I despise working in offices. It's just, it's not my thing. And why should it be? Just because American society and American ideals say that I should want to be an office worker, even though I make more money not being one. It pisses me off how Americans have this standard, America have this code of realization that everyone has to follow in order to be accepted. And I'm so sick of people looking down on me and judging me because I don't want to be like everybody else. I don't want to be a fucking mindless drone that just wants money and just wants a happy life and doesn't pay any attention to the things that's going on around them. Because think about it. The elderly realize the truth. The people that are on their deathbeds, the people that are in their 80s and 90s, they may have been doctors and lawyers during their lives, but when they finally get to that age, they come to a major realization that it doesn't matter. All that time I took life so seriously and busted my ass, I'm just going to end up dead anyway. So what fucking difference did it ever make to begin with? What is the point of ever trying to just end up lying on a deathbed? You can't take anything with you on your deathbed when you die. You can't even take the soiled, puke, blood-covered sheets and pajamas that you're going to be wearing with you when you die on your deathbed. You can't. So what is the point in killing yourself to try to strive to accomplish a certain goal like that? I'm not saying don't try to accomplish your goals. I kill myself trying to accomplish my goals, but mine have a far less arrogant and far less trivial atmosphere to them, because I believe that everyone should pursue happiness, whatever causes their happiness. They shouldn't pursue what society says should make you happy, because if you notice, why is it that the richest people are the biggest assholes? They're not happy. Their money hasn't made them happy. If anything, it's just made them miserable. End of fucking story.